Yeah, good morning. Opening day of Colorado's third rifle season. I'm in here pretty early. It's darker than it should be because it's really overcast. It was supposed to rain and snow last night, but it held off, so it's probably going to start today. Got a pretty good storm coming in, which is great because I'm hunting some wintering grounds, so we need the snow to push the animals down here. I'm trying to get in early before everybody else, get a good vantage point, and just kind of take inventory, see what I see moving around. I have my rifle this year. Last year I used my, can't even hardly see that back there. I'll show you when it's brighter. But last year I used my grandpa's 30-30, so I was very limited in my range. Ended up shooting a deer at 35 yards. I'll throw the link to that video down below. But I got my rifle this year, so I'm going to be a little selective because I can shoot further. And I'll get in today, see what I see. If I see something big, I'll get after it, but if not, I'll just kind of see what's around and spend a couple days trying to look for something decent. It's not an area known for real big deer, just has a lot of deer. So, should be a fun hunt. My dad's behind me, he has trouble walking in the dark, so he waited to leave camp till it gets a little bit brighter, so I'll catch up with him later. Catch up with you guys later. Well, it is taking a while to get bright because the cloud cover. So I'm going to post up here and wait for it to get a little bit brighter so that I can glass. Probably have to hang out for 15-20 minutes, maybe half an hour. See what happens. Alright, I found some deer. They're down in here. Let me flip this around. I don't think you're going to be able to see them. They were down in there. Looks like it's a group of does. Something spooked them up the drainage because they're moving pretty quickly. But it's a good sign. Already seeing deer. So I'm going to keep moving. My whole plan was to look down these and catch deer moving up from feeding that night, so just gotta look for one with antlers now. Got a doe right here. Looks like just one of them. It's just staring at me. This is pretty much the same spot that I shot the buck last year. So, kinda cool that the deer's in the same exact spot. Oh, there's another deer also. Another doe. Two does. Got another group of 4 does down in the valley. Running across. Something spooked them. Well, Doe City over here. Does everywhere. Can't seem to go through a drainage without running into a group. But no bucks. My throat is a little scratchy, so sorry if my voice is weird. I feel like I'm getting sick, which sucks because it's day one. Another bummer of day one is I lost the tripod legs to this tripod on this camera. So one of those little bendy ones, which was super handy for filming myself and just plopping it down real quick. Lose the tripod legs on day one, so it's going to be a struggle, especially as we start to get moisture on the ground, because I can't just set the camera down. Really unfortunate. But retraced my steps back to where the last time I used it twice, which is hard because you're walking through sage like this. So it's really hard to know if you are going on the exact same path or not. So I spent a good chunk of my morning doing that, trying to find these tripod legs, and never was able to track them down. I did find 2 sheds. You can see them right there. I think you saw them. 2 sheds. 1 and 2. Just little guys. Found those guys when I was looking for my tripod legs. It's cool to find those, but I have to spend money on tripod legs. Can't do anything with that much money. Or at least those ones can't do anything for money. But, oh well. It's getting cold. Snowing a little bit off and on. So I'm just gonna hang here and glass what I can see and see if I can turn up a deer. I have a feeling today's not gonna be super productive. Just because I saw does everywhere and they all have gone into cover and doubt I'm gonna see a buck moving. I found myself a little buck. It's across the way, 360 yards. Just a little fork and horn. So I just watched him a little bit. He disappeared when I was pulling the camera up to try to film him. I'm not sure exactly where it went. It must be behind some oak. Maybe bedded down. I don't know, but I'm just gonna hang tight in this area. Seeing a lot of deer in here. So, we'll see what happens. I feel like I've been saying alright and we'll see what happens like every video. I need to change that up. Well, alright, we'll see what happens. Walked up on the little forky buck. He's probably like 30 yards, 40 yards. Alright, well that little buck hung out right here, about 60 yards from me. Probably been about 20 minutes now. Some horseback riders rode by and he was watching them, really distracted from me, and then he slowly fed off and around. I snuck back up on him again a second time. Typically I would just leave him alone after they leave, but I snuck back up on him the second time because my exposure balance on my camera was off, so all my pictures, my stand right in front of me was super blown out because I didn't realize it was set at +4 and I was just looking off my light meter. So I snuck back in again. Didn't really get any good shots on that second go around just because of the brush, but oh well. It's fun watching him, fun being that close. It's a bummer I'm by myself, and it's a bummer he's so little because I don't want to shoot a deer like that on the first day, but my dad's using my grandpa's 30-30, the one I used last year. And this would have been the perfect opportunity for him to shoot a deer. Just nice and chill, right in front, hanging out for a long time. He would have plenty of time to make a good shot. Oh well, hopefully my dad's getting into stuff. Alright. I don't know what to do next. Walk around some more, see what I find. Day 2. Sorry I didn't close out yesterday. I was feeling pretty crummy. My throat is still a little bit sore and my ears are a little bit plugged, but they're feeling better than yesterday afternoon. And losing the tripod legs is kind of inconvenient with this little camera. I can't hold this little camera, my big tripod and camera, and my gun. I need to be able to set stuff down, and the tripod legs really allowed me to set this down, so I had my hands free. So I've been keeping this in my pack and pocket too much. You might notice I don't have a gun because I just shot a deer. Pretty decent. He's narrow and tall. I don't know if he's a 3 or a 4. I almost had it on film with the big camera. They spooked off and I had to get after them. And then in order to get an angle and set up the shot, I just set the big camera down and let it run. But I ended up having to reposition out of the lens to get an angle. And with no tripod on this guy, I can't really just throw this camera around. That was the beauty of this thing, that run and gun style. Just with those bendy legs, set it down. But oh well, shot a nice buck. Day 2. One day I'll get it on film, one day. That little forky yesterday I could have shot on film, no problem. But now I get to follow my dad around and film his hunt. maybe film him shooting a deer with my grandpa's 30-30. That'd be kind of a cool story. But I'm getting out of breath because I don't feel good. My nose is plugged, so I'm gonna stop recording. So this is where I shot the deer from. They were up on this ridge right there. They originally came down and were feeding, and I caught them in the middle of the field. I was trying to get this camera set up, and they were staring at me, and right when I was getting ready to shoot the buck, a doe stepped behind him, and then they all moved off. So I ran over here, set up right where the tripod is. I left the camera behind me because I thought I was going to get a shot from back down the road right here, but I didn't. So I left the camera, moved over here, got a shot from here. Buck ran down. I'm assuming he was piled up in the bottom. Does went up. I moved over so I could still have an angle up the drainage in case the buck was still on his feet. So that's where the gun lays. I'm gonna walk up there now, go find my deer. Exciting. Nice buck. Don't know if it's a 2 or a 3, but he's nice and tall. Let's see. It is about an hour and a half after I shot this deer before we finally found him. I was real nervous. Finally, after my dad met up with me, it's probably 2 hours. What time is it? It is 9 o'clock, and I shot the deer at 7:15.
And we just found him.
And we just found him
10 minutes ago.
I looked for about an hour. You showed up. We did some big circles, and I finally found one drop of blood on the opposite side of the ravine. I'll take a video of that. And then we started tracking off of that and found big piles. That's kind of a small pile. But finally found his blood trail, and here he is.
One shot.
This orange flag is the first blood I found.
How did he get there? I didn't see any blood down there.
Right here. The very first blood that I saw. So I'm thinking he came this way. I'm thinking he came from my right. Alright, deer's done. Got the pack all loaded up. I got all 4 quarters and the head, bone and shanks. And my dad has back straps, tenderloins, and neck meat. Time to load it up and walk out. Slowly making our way. It's snowing.
I got nothing good to say.
How much fun are you having?
None. My hips are burning, like I said.
Good thing that we're only halfway there.
Yeah, we gotta climb that road yet.
The muddy hill.
That's gonna pay for it.
Here, just show me from behind. It's already recording.
Okay.
Look how big it is.
Here. There he goes. With his unfair share of meat. Because I can't carry anymore.
Well, I think it's perfectly fair on account all this meat is getting eaten by me. When you say unfair share, you could say that on your deer.